and good day, everyone. I'm going to give a quick look at what has been happening in the Caribbean. And like so many of you have already said before, this has been a year like no other. So I'm going to start with a bit of context, and then we can look at what we've been doing specifically in terms of our outreach and engagement in the Caribbean. So if I can get the next slide, please. So over the past few years, I think we all know ARIN has been investing heavily in its work and outreach in the region. The region has 22 of the 29 territories in the ARIN service region, but the participation of persons from the Caribbean in ARIN activities has historically been low. The whole direct focus on the Caribbean has been designed to change that. Next slide, please. So it's one of the main reasons why in 2018, we established the ARIN Caribbean Forum. And the forum has really given us a lot more direct points of contact with our stakeholders in the region. In fact, we've been able to deepen our engagement with the technical community, primarily through the partnership we have with the Caribbean Network Operators Group, CARIBNOG. We've also been able to increase our interactions with governments in the region, both directly and through the long-standing partnership we have had with the Caribbean Telecommunications Union. And one thing we've also been able to do a lot more of since 2018 is facilitate the collaborations between law enforcement and the public safety officials in the region and their North American counterparts. Now, this has all actually translated very positively and very directly in the amount of resource requests we've been seeing, a number of resource requests we've been seeing from the Caribbean, and the total number of IPv6 network registrations we've been seeing in the Caribbean. And so this is something that was a direct result of that heightened outreach with the formation of the ARIN Caribbean Forum. Next slide, please. But we could not have known how important these connections and these initiatives would have been for this year, 2020. Well, COVID hit like a wrecking ball, particularly on the territories in the region that have been heavily tourism dependent. And this is where I think the small size of Caribbean populations and economies really highlight some of the unique vulnerabilities in the region. The lockdowns and all of the restrictions that have been taking place around the world have led to, in the case of the Caribbean, an unprecedented surge in the demand for internet connectivity and an unprecedented reliance on internet for everything from government services to essential commerce and all of the other things that have been necessary for continuing life inside of these conditions. Now, the opportunity side of that, it has also put a spotlight on ARIN, its role, the value of number resources, the benefit of autonomous networks. And we have used that opportunity to really build on our outreach work in the region. Next slide, please. And I want to share with you how we responded, particularly how we ramped up our partnerships and took advantage of the relationships that we have built over the past several years. And I want to start with a look at what we've been doing with the technical community. Next slide, please. At the beginning of the pandemic, we polled the technical community to gauge what were the priority issues. We were seeing the immediate impacts of lockdowns and no-flies and all of these things. We knew we couldn't get around in the way that we would have been accustomed to. And we also understood, of course, that we had to move everything virtual. Based on that feedback, we designed, together with CARIBNOG, a webinar series called COVID-19 and the Caribbean Internet. Now, this substituted for our planned ARIN Technical Forum event, which was supposed to have taken place around the first and second quarter of the year. And it also substituted for the outreach work that we would have been doing to the technical community. We focused on infrastructure, security, access policy, and network delivery, and it was extremely beneficial to those who attended. The series, the 10 sessions in that series ran from April through to June. More than 200 persons would have logged on at various stages to participate in the sessions, and the feedback has been extremely positive. Next slide, please. We then shifted our focus to our work with the governments in the region. As you know, the Government Affairs Division has been making a concerted effort to reach out to Caribbean governments to understand what the major issues are and how they impact global internet policy. And so with the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, the CTU, we were able to host 4 public webinars looking at, under the theme, Accelerating 21st Century Government, particularly trying to understand what opportunities existed for accelerating how governments were approaching the build out of internet infrastructure in the region, and how they were approaching the issues around public policy that related to internet governance issues. And these sessions, again, were extremely valuable to those who attended. We had a nice range going from government ministers through regulators and public policy specialists, and of course, just general interested persons from the public. And we ran those over the course of a month, and we're still getting feedback on the impact of those sessions. Now, all of this, next slide, please. All of this is part of what I think can be safely considered to be our evolving Caribbean outreach. I mean, we can tell that these times are unprecedented, but what is also becoming clear is that the landscape is changing irreversibly. Some of the issues that are circulating around the build out of the internet infrastructure in the region are likely to have global implications for policy, regulation, privacy, data sovereignty, and so on. And in a real way, or to a large extent, our outreach in the Caribbean has served like a seismograph, allowing us to track where the tremors, where the quakes that can impact the work that we're doing at ARIN, not just now, but into the future. And you can already get a sense, based on the feedback we're receiving from the technical community, from the public sector officials, that the more we track and the more insights we get, the better we're able to plan for the future. And for that reason, the intention is to continue strengthening our collaborations with the technical community and with the intergovernmental organizations such as CARICOM, the OECD, which we're working with to initiate a data measurement and research project together with the Organization for Eastern Caribbean States. Next slide, please. And we're also noticing that our work is getting the level of recognition and appreciation that really inspires us to continue pressing forward. This statement from Dr. Jules, the Director General of the OECS, this is a 10-member country intra-governmental agency, I said, I think it speaks volumes. ARIN has well earned its reputation as a trustworthy, committed, and reliable actor in the service of internet development in the Caribbean. And these words are exactly what we're focusing on going forward, to continue to be that trustworthy partner to the region. Looking forward, next slide, please. Our 4 strategic goals for the Caribbean can be summed up like this: to be recognized as a strong and capable partner, to have strong government relations, and to have our services well known across the Caribbean internet community, and finally, to support the strengthening and resiliency of internet infrastructure in the Caribbean. This is the roadmap that we've set for the outreach work going forward, based on the foundation that has been laid, based on the changing times and our understanding of what are the priority areas for the region and for the ARIN organization. Next slide, please. So our work, we can say, our work in the Caribbean provides direct benefits, but not just to the islands or territories within the Caribbean. I think it's safe to say that the work that we're doing, the models and patterns that we're seeing, provide benefit to the entire ARIN service region. And we hope to continue to do exactly that, to build those models, to understand the changing landscape of the community, and to really deliver in ways that impact positively the entire ARIN community. I want to close with this simple statement. We're committed to the Caribbean. We're committed to its development. We're committed to the technical community, the internet infrastructure development work that we're seeing and supporting, and of course, facilitating the relationships that are so fundamental to the success, stability, and strength of the internet going forward for us all. This is a summary of what has been taking place in the Caribbean over the past few months, and I hope it gives you a sense of the track that we're on and the path that we're going forward with. Thank you.
Thank you, Bevel. That's been very helpful. It's open for questions. If anyone has questions for Bevel regarding the Caribbean update he just gave, you can either raise your hand or you can post them in the Q&A. I'm looking. I don't see any questions. Great update, Bevel. Very good. Okay, I'd like to thank Bevel